Hi, first grade, and welcome to another Reader's Workshop lesson. Yesterday, we focused on characters' feelings, and we noticed how characters were acting and how they were speaking, and it helped us figure out how the character feels. And we noticed yesterday, I'm sure you can see the picture, that Frog was shouting, and he was running up to the house, and he was crying out to Toad, and we put all of those things together to realize that Frog was excited. Today, we're going to think about two more things to notice when we're reading to really help us understand characters' feelings. Today, we're going to zoom in on what characters are saying. So what are the actual words that they're saying and what they're thinking? And we're going to combine that with how they're acting and how they're speaking to ask ourselves how the character feels. We're going to continue reading our Frog and Toad story to do that. Yesterday, we thought about what Frog was feeling, but today we're going to figure out what Toad is feeling. Remember, to do that, we're thinking about how Toad acts, how Toad speaks, what Toad is saying, and what Toad is thinking. Frog walked into the house. It was dark. All the shutters were closed. "Toad, where are you?" called Frog. "Go away," said the voice from a corner of the room. Ooh, I'm going to write "go away" as something that Toad said. On my sticky, I wrote, "Go away." And I'm going to put that by what they say. Toad was lying in bed. He had pulled all the covers over his head. I'm going to write that down as Toad's actions, because remember, we're still thinking about those. So he's lying in bed. He pulled the covers over his head. So I wrote that on this sticky note, and I'm going to put that by his actions. Frog pushed Toad out of bed. He pushed him out of the house and onto the front porch. Toad blinked in the bright sun. "Help!" said Toad. "I cannot see anything." "Don't be silly," said Frog. "What you see is the clear, warm light of April, and it means that we can begin a whole new year together, Toad." "Think of it," said Frog. "We will skip through the meadows and run through the woods and swim in the river. In the evenings, we will sit right here on this front porch and count the stars." "You can count them, Frog," said Toad. "I will be too tired. I am going back to bed." I'm going to write some of the things that he just said on this sticky. I'm going to write that he said he was going back to bed. And I'm going. Now, when Frog asked Toad to think about all of those things that they could do in spring, it says that Toad said he would be too tired. So those must have been Toad's thoughts during that time. So I'm going to write too tired on a new sticky and put this sticky by what they think. Now I need to ask myself, what do these things tell me about how the character feels? Well, I know that when I'm lying in bed and I pull the covers over my head or I say "go away" to someone, I'm not usually in a very good mood. Those things usually mean that I'm pretty grumpy. So I think that all of our evidence of Toad saying "going back to bed" and thinking he's too tired and pulling those covers over his bed show us that he is grumpy. Do you agree that he feels grumpy on these pages? Great. I'm going to write "grumpy" on this sticky note. And I'm going to put this sticky note right here because it's how the character is feeling. Now, first graders, your job today is to do the same thing in your books. You're going to take all 4 things that we've worked on and notice them about your character. So you're noticing how your character is acting, how your character is speaking, what your character is saying, and what your character is thinking, and you're putting all of that together to determine how your character feels. Have fun reading.